teacher interview and resume webinar. So I'm just checking that I'm live everywhere, and it looks like I am. So this is good. So today we're talking about the teacher interview and resume. Come on into the chat. Let me know that you can hear me and see me, and tell me where you're from. Looks like we've got people from Virginia, Alabama. We've got Megan, Rosa, Rick. Great to see you guys. And I have a Google Doc in the chat. So if you click that link, you can access what I'm going to be talking about today. You don't have to right now. You can just listen to me, and you will get that link later, and you can download it later. So you don't have to scramble to try to figure it out. But you can't edit that link. So you're going to either have to download it, or you're going to have to make a copy and pull it up on your own Google Doc. We'll talk about that in a second. So welcome, everyone. Come on in. Hello, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Kentucky, 2 Kentuckys, Maryland, Seattle, Virginia. Awesome. So glad you guys are here today. So just to introduce myself a little bit, and again, I just want to make sure I'm live on. I am. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm live on YouTube. So my name is Kathleen Jasper. If you're new here, let me know in the chat. Some of you have already been a part of this community for a long time. And I have been helping prospective teachers pass their certification exams and get the jobs they want in education. And I have really enjoyed this. I was a teacher. I started off as a substitute teacher, and I got a permanent sub position in a high school. I loved it. I was coaching cross country with a really good friend of mine and a mentor. And then I ended up getting a job in that same school that I was a substitute teacher. And so I went through this whole process you're going through. I had to take all the certification exams, and I even had to take more, because every time I would get certified in something, my principal would be like, well, I need a biology teacher. I need you to get certified in biology. I need an English teacher. I need you to get certified in English. I need a reading teacher. I need you to get endorsed. So I had to take a lot of these exams. Later, I became a curriculum specialist downtown, which is an amazing job. Those of you who are new to teaching and you may like lesson planning and professional development and all of that, you may want to set your sights on a position at the district office. It's so much fun. There's so many cool things going on down there. And it's like awesome because you're teaching, but without all the day-to-day craziness of the classroom. And then after that, I became an assistant principal at the high school, and I helped hire lots and lots of teachers. So I have a lot of insights on this process and the way it's also happening now. And so I just want to share with you a few things today, and you will be able to access all of this information in a follow-up email. If you are watching this in the future, so today is June 8th, 2024. If you're watching this in the future, you already have everything in the email that came with this. But if you are watching live right now, that follow-up email will come out about 15 to 20 minutes after we are done here, and you will get everything. So you can just sit back and watch me right now. And then you can download all the things later and even rewatch this. You're going to get a replay link. You're going to get extra stuff that I talk about, all of that. Okay. So really important that we just kind of pay attention. You know how it is with kids. You're like, let's pay attention to what's going on. And then you can download everything later. You don't have to scramble to download. Okay. So there's a couple things I'm going to share with you today. And I also have some paid resources. You can use what I'm talking about today, all the free stuff, because I know some of you are broke and you don't want to spend any extra money. I get it. I was a teacher. But I also have a very inexpensive interview course that would pair really well with this. We'll talk about that in a second. All right. Houston, Texas. I got somebody from Boston. I myself am from Massachusetts, not Boston, but Western Mass, Pittsfield, on the other side. But I have tons of family in Massachusetts. That's where my people are from. Houston, awesome. Beaumont, Texas. Tulsa, the Philippines, awesome. We love our Philippines people. You guys I have a ton of people that come from the Philippines. Arkansas, Tennessee. Awesome, guys. Tallahassee. That's where I went to school. I went to school at Florida State. So I lived in Tallahassee for a long time. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing, we're going to start off with the resume. And then I'm going to talk about the interview. Okay, because you have to have the resume in order to get the interview. I am imploring you guys to use AI for this task. And here is why. You are going to upload this resume most likely into a portal. Gone are the days where you have a physical copy of your resume and you walk it into a principal. What you are going to do is you're going to upload it into some sort of district portal, and the district is going to use AI to decipher the different resumes, right? It's going to shuffle through. It's going to pull out the resumes with the keywords. It's going to pull out the resumes with the right certifications. And that's what they're going to spit out. They are not going to sit there and painstakingly read every single word of your resume. How do I know this? Well, I was the assistant principal of a high school, and we had to hire lots and lots of teachers because the turnover is crazy. And we did not have time to read every word on the resume. And the computer is what spit out what we printed out anyways. So don't spend 80 hours on a resume that's literally going to be looked at for 5 seconds. Now, that doesn't mean there should be errors, spelling errors, inconsistencies, problems with formatting, but you can use AI to do this. And I just recommend using ChatGPT for lots of things as a teacher. So I know some people are apprehensive about AI, but here's the thing. People were apprehensive about the calculator. People were apprehensive about Google. People were apprehensive about Wikipedia. All have turned out to be amazing tools for not just the public, but specifically for education. Now, we want to make sure we use it ethically, and we want to make sure that we are using it properly, but this will save you so much time. I have another video on my YouTube channel on how to use ChatGPT to plan your lessons. I'm telling you, you guys, teachers need more time, and ChatGPT is going to give you that time. So I'm going to show you today how to develop an amazing resume using ChatGPT that is not at all generic, that is very much tailored to you and who you are. And with ChatGPT, you want to keep tweaking the prompt here and there. And then when we're done with this, you're going to get an email with the prompt in the email. Okay. So let's just explore ChatGPT for a second. I am obsessed with AI. I love it. It has made my life so much easier, and the sky is the limit for the classroom and for the teachers. I mean, so much you can do with this tool. Okay. So let me go ahead and just share screen with you really quickly. Okay. So my first thing is, a lot of people say, how do I get to ChatGPT? Simple. You can Google ChatGPT. And there you will see a link to go straight to ChatGPT. The URL is chat.openai.com. Okay. Now I already have let's do a new chat. I have ChatGPT 4.0 here. I pay for ChatGPT because I use it for so much. But today I'm going to use the free version because I think a lot of you will be using the free version, and you don't have to pay for ChatGPT. I pay for it because I like what this ChatGPT on steroids gives me as a content creator, as a writer, as a explorer, all of these things. But teachers, you can just do the free. All right. No big deal. Okay. So notice here, and some of you are already using ChatGPT. Here's the area where you put in the prompt. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the sample prompt that you are going to get in this webinar once we are done. Okay. So let me share this. Okay. So here is the prompt. Now, once you get this document, you've got the link, and I put it in the chat. It's the very first. Let me copy the link and put it in the chat real quick. Please hold. Okay. I just put it again in there, but just pay attention to me. Don't pay attention to the prompt, but I put it in the chat for you guys. Okay. If you are watching me on social media, and if you're watching me on YouTube, click the link in the description and you will be able to get this prompt. Okay. So you have to fill out the form and join the webinar, but you'll get it. Don't worry. All right. So here's the ChatGPT prompt. Now, first things first, once you click on this link and you see this, you're going to want to start making all these changes in here. This is my prompt. I don't want everybody making changes in here, because if you make changes, then those changes are for everybody. So if you would like to copy this Google document, just go over to File. You can hit download. You can download it as Microsoft Word, or you can make a copy. And you know what? So that's going to help you do all that. So just File, make a copy, or download. Then you can edit your ChatGPT. Okay. So just remember that. I don't want you to try to change this because you're not going to. And then we get emails that says, I can't edit the document. Of course you can't edit the document, because if you edit it, edits it for everyone else. So what you want to do is go to File and Download, or File, Make a Copy. When you make a copy, you will be able to edit. Okay. So what I want you, and let me just make sure. Yeah, you guys are only viewers, no editors. Okay, good. So here we go. So, and also please do not just copy this and turn it into your principal, because I have my logo here down at the bottom, and you do not want to send in a resume, because I have a template here for you guys with Kathleen Jasper down at the bottom. That would be bad. So don't just copy this. You got to use your own sort of situation here. Okay. Now I kept it in Word document form so you could change it up. If I put this as a PDF, which is what I normally do with my handouts, then you can't really edit it. So I wanted to put this here. All right. So here's what you do. Here's your ChatGPT prompt. I always like to tell ChatGPT who they are, because this makes ChatGPT talk like how I want it to talk and produce the information I want it to produce. So I say things like this. You are applying for a job as an, it could be a or an, depending on what you're doing. And then you're going to enter your grade and subject area. So maybe you are a fourth grade teacher. You're trying to get a job as a fourth grade teacher. Maybe you're a middle school science teacher. Put it in there. And that's what goes in here. And you know what? I'll highlight it for you. You have to enter your information there. And then I say the job description outlines the following skills. Now, I came up with these skills myself. The reason being is because I've interviewed so many teachers, and this is what we want to hear from them. Okay. And so I put these here. Now, what you might want to put in here as well is the job description is ... and then you could put the job description. Maybe you have the job description for your district. Maybe it's on the website. If it is, copy and paste it into here. Now you might say, well, why are you doing this in Google Docs before you put it in ChatGPT? The reason is with ChatGPT, once you press enter on ChatGPT, it sends it. And we don't want that. I want to craft the prompt for ChatGPT before I do it. Okay. So you might want to add the job description is this. You might also want to add any other things that are in the job description or something that your district or that school is looking for. Again, this is a generic prompt. And then I put and we might say work experience. Your work experience includes, and then I have these here, and I'll go ahead and highlight those for you. That's where you put your work experience as the person downloading this sample prompt. Okay. Now here's what I also put. Please draft a 1-page resume. I don't want 3 pages. Principals are busy. They do not want more than a page. Please don't send in more than a page. When we get these giant resumes, the APs and the principal die a little bit on the inside because we don't have time to read it. Make it easy on the principal. They're going to be like, oh, look at this person. They just did what they were supposed to do. They're not trying to be, over the top. That's what we want. Okay. So please draft. And I always say please to ChatGPT because I feel like I get better results when I say please. Please draft a 1-page resume summarizing your work experiences using the skills mentioned in the job description above. So I'm telling ChatGPT, make me a resume with all this information, please. And here's the key. Please leave out the objective statement. The objective statement is so ridiculous. Don't use it. If you are applying for a 4th grade position, I know your objective is to apply for a 4th grade position. You don't have to tell me that. Okay. So leave that out because it's valuable real estate. You're only using a page and we need all the page space we can get. Wasting it on 3 lines for the objective is ridiculous. Nobody cares about your objective. We know what your objective is. It's to get a teaching job. Okay. So now on the next page of this document, I have a sample ChatGPT prompt here. Okay. What I did was I took those same skills, I just left those, and then I put in some sample work experience. Now, yours may be different. I added the service industry specialist because when I first started out, I was a bartender for many years. And I, I didn't know how to frame that for a job or for a resume. Like, I'm a bartender, I was a bartender at the Ritz-Carlton. I was a bartender at very seedy dive bars. I was a bartender at college bars. I had been a bartender all over, and it was really fun and awesome. But I jumped from being a bartender with a degree and almost a master's degree also into the teaching profession. And I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to tell the principal, I'm a bartender, but it turns out it doesn't matter. And so I put service industry specialist because it churches up bartender. You could put bartender as well. They know what this is. Service industry specialist is the same thing. Then I was a substitute teacher, and then I was a full-time teacher. Now, you might be somebody who's a full-time teacher already, and maybe you have 3 full-time teaching jobs. Maybe you're just coming out of college, and maybe you have some retail here. Maybe you were a salesperson at Foot Locker or something. I don't know. And then you were maybe a server. And then you were maybe a substitute teacher. Just put in 3 to 4 job experiences. And listen, and if you are just coming out of college, the principal knows you haven't been a teacher before. It's okay. It's okay to put your service industry experience. It's okay if you're a career changer. Maybe you were an accountant. Maybe you were something else before you decided to become a teacher. It's all good. All right. Now, include your certifications. This is important. If you're already certified, include your certifications here. If you are not certified, I'm going to add a little line here for you guys. I might do anticipated certifications. Let me just put this back. Okay, and let me put a little. Maybe you have taken elementary education. You might put passed here. Okay, middle school mathematics, passed, and then maybe the PLT. Maybe you're a state that does the PLT. I might put anticipated. Let's just say August 2024. Okay, now what I'm talking about here, for those of you who are wondering what this is if you are applying for a job as a career changer, but you haven't passed all of your exams yet. You've passed some. In a lot of states, if you've passed the subject area exam, like the elementary education or the middle school mathematics, you can apply for a teaching position and then pass the rest of your exams. And for this one would be Praxis Core. We might put anticipated, let's say July 2024. Okay, let's just say that. Let's say you've already taken the elementary ed, you've passed, but your state makes you take the PLT and the Praxis Core. I know there's a lot of people here from Texas. Your state has the PPR. The PPR is your PLT. It's the same exact test. It's just a different name. And I don't know what your basic skills is. It's the Texas something. Just put in your anticipated certifications here. If you have already passed your exams and you're already certified, just use this one here. I'm going to do 2 sample resumes in ChatGPT to do this. Okay. So now that I've had this, let's say, let me put a little enter. I'm going to push this down a little bit. Okay. Let's say that let's just cut this. I'm going to put this down here and use it in a minute. Okay. Let's say that you are a teacher. You've already been a teacher and you've already been a full-time teacher. This is your experience. And, these are your certifications. Notice that I said, put the certifications at the top. Why do I want to put the certifications at the top? When a principal is looking at your resume, the first thing the principal wants to know is, what is he or she certified in? They do not care about anything else in that moment. Why? Because if I'm looking for a fourth grade teacher, I need K6. If I'm looking for a middle school math teacher, I need middle school math. If I'm looking for a high school social studies teacher, I need social science 612. They need to know your certifications right off the bat. They need to know where they can put you. That is the thing. We got to fill up the classrooms, the proper classrooms with the proper teacher. So certifications at the top. That's why I say take out the objective statement and put the certifications there. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this whole thing. I'm going to leave this off because I'm not this teacher yet. I'm already certified. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go into ChatGPT. I'm put my cursor down here. I'm going to hit paste. Okay. Just scroll up here. I might delete you don't have to. I just do it because I'm sort of a nerd when it comes to formatting. All right. So here's my prompt here. And then I'm going to click this little arrow here. And this is going to send it to ChatGPT and it's going to go boom. And I have a resume. Okay. Now listen, you can copy this entire resume and put it in there and you're good. You can also make sure that you're going to want to put full-time teacher and then the school, right? But you can see it put my teaching experience at the top, my most recent, and then it went most recent. Another thing it did is it made all my bullets parallel, utilized, designed, employed, collaborated. You don't have to come up with this stuff. It came up with it for you. Adapted, implemented, collaborated, demonstrated, leveraged, developed. Okay. Notice with the service industry specialist, let's say you were a bartender like I was. Look what it did for me. Demonstrated strong interpersonal and communication skills in providing high quality customer service. Is this important as teachers? Yes, it is. Because you have to have strong interpersonal skills and you have to deliver high quality customer service to your parents, and you have to address clients' needs and concerns. Those emails coming from parents, all of this tells me that yes, you are a bartender, but you know what? You have the skills to do this. Or let's say it's retail, or let's say it's whatever. It's going to help you tailor this. All right. Leverage problem solving abilities. Do teachers need to be problem solvers? Yes, we do. Notice that this ChatGPT just gave me everything I needed, put my certifications at the top, and then grabbed it. Now, what I did was I copied this whole thing here and I put it into my resume. Now I'm going to go back to the resume. Okay. You're just going to put your name at the top. This is in a header. Okay. You can do this in a regular Word document. I'm doing it in a Google Doc so that you can have it for later. Okay. So name here, email, phone number. Don't put your address. You don't need your address. For safety concerns and things like that, don't be sending out your address. Here's your email and phone number. That's enough. They don't need your address. They're not coming to your house, okay? Later, when you get the job, you can put your address on your forms. You don't need that here. Notice at the top, certifications go right here. And when I did that here, I actually, certifications, let's go back to ChatGPT. Certifications. Grab this. Hang on one second. Okay. This is going to tell the principal right away, I'm certified in elementary ed and middle school math. Boom. Where can you put me? This is going to help. Then I'm going to have to be full-time teacher. Then you can implement the name, or you could grab this and add it to your prompt. Like service industry specialist, you could put the name of the bar. Like for me, it was Ritz Carlton. I moved on up in my bartending years. I started off at dive bars and I ended up at the Ritz, the classy place, but both were awesome. But this was my most recent, before I became a teacher, the Ritz Carlton was where I last bartended. Okay. So that might be nice. Ritz Carlton, they might be like, ooh, the Ritz Carlton, but anyways, you could put it in there and then where it is, right? So city, state, and dates here, city, state, and dates, and then it all goes down there. So let's see here. Here is the one with the certifications. That is with the ChatGPT prompt here. Let's go. Sorry to scroll. With these certifications here. All right. So let's say instead of this here, let me cut this off. You're a brand new teacher. You don't have any teaching experience. So you are anticipated certifications. You've passed your elementary ed and you're telling the principal that. This is good news to the principal because I can say, oh, she's already passed her elementary ed. Perfect. I can use her. Right? Or, oh, they're going to pass everything by August 2024. Awesome. I'm more inclined to hire somebody who I know is going to be done with their exams a little earlier. Right? So then you just grab this same thing and throw it into ChatGPT, just like we did. And when we did, we've got this Praxis Core pass, elementary ed pass, PLT anticipated July 2024. Now notice I put these all on one line. I did that to save space because remember, I want a one pager. Sometimes what I'll do, instead of hitting enter, I'll put this little line here. It's right above the return key on a Mac. You just hit shift and it's the up and down line. It separates things. I did the same thing with the email and the phone here to keep this on one line in my header. It saves space and it tells the principal, okay, I've passed the Praxis Core. I've passed the elementary ed. I'm almost certified. And this says to the principal, I'm going to have all my tests passed by July 2024. Okay. And then full-time teacher, professional experience. And I jazzed this up a little bit. I made this all caps. I bolded it. You don't have to make it crazy. And then I put full-time teacher, ABC Elementary, italicized, Allentown, New Jersey, and then the dates. And then I just used what the ChatGPT gave me. Then substitute teacher, I would put maybe the school district. You could also, if this was, you could use the actual school or you could use the school district, whatever you want. And then a service industry specialist, I might say Ritz-Carlton here, the city, state, and dates. Then at the bottom, put your education because you do have to have a bachelor's degree. Okay. But if you're applying, I know you most likely have a bachelor's degree, but I do need to check. You don't have to put this at the top. To be honest, the certifications is more important to me than your education. Even if you have a master's, your certifications are more important to me. Why? Because I have to be able to place you. At this moment in time, I don't care if you have a master's. When I scroll down here, oh, that's cool. She's got a master's in reading. Awesome. Or she's got a master's in whatever. Great. But this for now is what I need. And then of course, the professional experience. So notice I'm listing it the way the principal is going to want to see it. This is just going to help. Principal's going to go, oh, yes, certifications. Boom. They're about to be totally certified July 2024. Awesome. If I hire this person, I'm not going to have to worry about their certifications. And then, oh, okay, cool. They graduated from blah, blah, blah with a BA and yada, yada. And they got a master's. Awesome. And then I always put this here. References available on request, upon request. Don't give any references yet. You may, and what I do also is I have a separate sheet that I'll bring in with me sometimes to the interview process where it's 3 or 4 people. The thing is, if you're trying to change schools right now, you may not want to just give your old principal's name and contact because you may not want to leave that school until you get a job offer, right? And principals know that people are shopping around, changing schools and stuff. If you've already signed a contract with somebody, I wouldn't be shopping around for a new job because it's going to get around to the principals that you've already signed and now you're breaking your contract. But if you haven't signed a contract yet for the following year, you may want to just put your principal's thing upon request here. Just put references available upon request. All right. Now, really quickly, let me stop sharing and go over to here and see what we got in the questions. Okay, did Alabama drop the PLT requirement? I'm not sure, Rick. You're going to have to check with your state. It depends on the state. Some people drop it, some people don't. You can find that on your state certification website. Jackie, I worked as an aide for 6 months in a 3rd grade classroom. I'd like to use that experience, but is 6 months too short? Not at all. Not at all. Just put the year. So if it was 6 months in the year 2022, just put 2022. You don't have to put the date range. That's what I do. I just put the years. That way it's like, oh, okay. Don't have to get into it. 6 months is a long, when we're talking about school years and we're talking about substitute teaching and we're talking about aides, you're getting experience as an aide in those 6 months. So include it. Just put the year. What if I have a teaching license in my home country, but no certification in the US? All right, Cindy, good question. you would list it, but you're going to need to be certified in the state that you are trying to teach in. In the United States, the states govern education. So even if I was certified in Florida, which is where I live, and I want to move to New Jersey, I most likely will have to go through some certification process in New Jersey. So just figure that out. You're going to have to do that based on state. Jackie, no experience. Experience is experience. Yes, absolutely. Experience is experience. What about photo and designations? You don't need a photo. And photos are kind of like, now it's, don't use a photo. Don't use a photo. Can we leave the school name off? You can, Jessica, but you would want to put the district. I mean, it's just like giving it some relevance. Because if I just say, oh, I was a teacher, they're going to ask, where were you a teacher? So I know sometimes you don't want to let the other principal know that you're applying. Maybe you have a principal already and you are trying to apply. You don't have to broadcast it, but you don't want to be secretive either, because that's a red flag. Okay. Does the experience outside the US count as teaching experience? Absolutely, it counts. So if you are coming to the United States and you have teaching experience in another country, experience is experience. And here's the thing, you guys, there's a teaching shortage in the United States. So yes, put all your experience there. We need you. I took the reading specialty practice about a month ago and haven't received my scores. Don't know how long the scores take. All right. Well, we're talking about the resume now, but it could take a while to get your scores back. I would contact either your state or ETS if you haven't received them yet. Pay scale depends on teaching experience. Does the so somebody's asking me about pay scale. The pay scale does depend on experience. It's usually by years, and that is a state. Actually, that's a district. Districts determine what the teachers are paid. So you would have to look at your district, but it's all public knowledge. You can go in and find out the pay scale. They call them salary schedules in a lot of places. All right. Some states have reciprocity agreements for licensure. Yes, Keith, they do, but there's always something that isn't reciprocal. It's a money grab. So nothing in my experience is a perfect shift. There is always something you have to do, unfortunately. Okay. I'm a secondary education major and social studies graduate, but currently working as in elementary department. Does that affect my application? But currently working in elementary department. No, you know what? We need secondary teachers. So if you're getting experience in elementary, it's okay. Lots of teachers go from elementary to high and high to elementary. It's just, just put it in there. Use ChatGPT if you need some wording, that I have elementary experience, but I want to transfer that to high school. It's about student engagement. It's about differentiation. It's about classroom management. That stuff, is universal in education. So, and trust me, there's a shortage. So if you're elementary, you want to go to high school, they'll take you, and vice versa. Unfortunately, there is no teaching shortage in Long Island, New York, and Connecticut. Yeah, that's because the Northeast pays their teachers, Chris. But you can still land a job and just work really hard on those certifications and getting that experience. Okay, so let's see here. What if they ask to contact your previous employer? Your former principal might not say positive things about you. All right, Miriam is asking about a former employer. When it comes to a lot of states, when they ask the former employer question, in my experience, when somebody calls about a teacher, they're only calling to verify dates. There, in a lot of states, not every state, there are laws where we can't say anything about teachers and how they performed. You can pull up their evaluations and look, but I, as the AP, if you call me for a reference, like let's say you're a principal and you call me for a reference, you are not able to say bad things or good things. You just verify the dates of when they worked and what grade level. So, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that when it comes to the interview in a minute, as soon as we finish this up, about staying positive in the interview and all of that. Okay. I'm an intervention specialist and will complete principal licenses. Should I add that to my resume? Absolutely. Add it to your resume. If you're looking for a teaching position, that's going to put you over the top a little bit, but, and it may say like, oh, this person doesn't, is probably going to leave to be an administrator soon, but I would definitely put it, anything is important, any kind of experience. Okay. Back to experience. I have 20 years daycare, Head Start, ICA, home visitors. How much will this count? All of that counts. Everything counts. Everything counts. That's why I say use ChatGPT to tailor what you've done to turn it into how it can help teaching experience. You notice there I was a bartender and it said interpersonal skills, delivering awesome customer service, meeting the needs of every person. That's all teaching. So everything counts. All right. Okay. What do you mean pull up the evaluation? Okay, Gabby. So if you had an evaluation with your principal, so if you were a new teacher and you were evaluated by your principal, they most likely have documented that evaluation in most states. So it's somewhere where they can be pulled up. It's data on you as a teacher. So they can pull up your evaluation and see how you performed. Should I bring a detailed resume to the interview? You can. You might want to walk in with a folder with a resume if you want to give a hard copy. Most of the time, principals just print it out and we all have a copy if we're interviewing the teacher. But you can have it ready to hand out. Don't go over the top. Like the thing is that principals are so busy interviewing people that like, we don't need anything extra. If you have a folder with extra resumes handy, that's good. Just in case somebody, maybe there's a panel or there's a group of assistant principals interviewing you and they don't have a copy, you might want to say, do you want a copy of my resume? Here you go. Or you may want to have a copy of references in the folder. That's always good. It looks like you're prepared or whatever. So that's fine. Okay. Can principals pull up evaluations from another state? It depends. I don't know. It depends on what kind of computer software they're using. Okay. Let's see. I have a degree in early childhood education. However, I'm not licensed. Any advice on getting licensed? Ebony. So you're going to need to go to whatever state. So this person is asking, I have a degree in early childhood, but I'm not certified. Okay. So what you do is wherever you're trying to become a teacher, the state, go to the state's website, the Department of Education for that state, go to the certification page and figure out how to get certified. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to take up to sometimes a little more than three tests, a basic skills test, a content area certification, which would be pre-K, and then probably the PLT, the PPR, or some sort of professional test. There's usually 3, not always, but most states use 3 tests to certify. Then on top of that, you might have to take some professional development as a new teacher. Every state is different. You have to check with your state. That's how you determine if you're licensed. I'm going the alternate route in New Jersey to obtain a license. Do I add that to the resume? Yes. Just put on there alt certification and put your tests, anticipated date of passing, just like I put. That's it. All right. Can I include in my resume that I'm on dissertation writing my doctorate or just write earned units? Listen, I too have my doctorate and it's an important achievement. And it's very important in education to tout our educational accomplishments because it helps our students see how we've gone through the process and all of that. When we aren't a doctor yet, sometimes we want to put like, all but dissertation, ABD, like I've done it all except the dissertation. Wait to put your doctorate until you have finished everything. So I understand the coursework is difficult and you want to say like, I'm in a doctoral program. That can come up in the interview. Okay. I don't think, in my experience, and you should be excited. It was the hardest thing I ever did was write my dissertation, defend my dissertation and everything like that. But on a resume, don't put anticipated doctoral candidate or whatever. You're not there yet. You haven't achieved it yet. Don't put it on your resume. That's my opinion. All right. Now, some people like to put it in their signature, almost doctor. I just think you got to wait till you earn it and then you can use it. And then once you do get it, don't lead with it. Just put it in your signature. I never lead with Dr. Jasper. My name on Facebook is Kathleen Jasper, EDD. I put it there. If people want to address me as doctor, and they usually do in academia, fine, but I don't lead with it. People will call you doctor when they respect you and see what you do. They will call you doctor. Try not to lead with it. And I'm not saying that you do that. I'm just giving you a little bit of advice that I've learned over the years in academia. and I've seen people lead with it. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It's fine. Everybody's different. In my opinion, that's how I would conduct it. But if you're not a doctor yet, if you don't have a master's yet, don't put it down. Portfolio, Jessica, good question. Portfolio, please don't bring a portfolio into the interview or attach it. Portfolios are a lot of work, and I'm so glad that many of you have done them. I understand that they kind of showcase your teaching abilities. Here's the thing. It tells me nothing about your teaching abilities. I have to see you in action. I have to talk to you to figure out what kind of teacher you're going to be. And also, I don't have time to read it. A principal does not have time to flip through a giant portfolio. They don't care. They need your certifications, they need your experience, and they need you to come in for an interview because they are doing 100 million things besides interviewing you. I know that you are focused on the interview, probably obsessing about it because it's your interview. The principal is interviewing 12, 13, 14 people in that month, maybe, depending on what the turnover is. In my school, when I was the assistant principal, we'd have 4, 5, 6 interviews a day. So I don't have time for a portfolio. If you want it, keep it in the car. If the principal says, "Oh, you have a portfolio, I'd love to see that," then you could say, "Oh, I'll get it after the interview and I'll leave it with you." But otherwise, don't use it. You probably needed it for your undergrad. You don't need it for the interview or for the resume. I am a brand new teacher who only has student teaching experience. Do I include my EA? Yes, include it all. Like I said, let's go back to the thing here. Let's go back to my resume prompt. Okay. All right. So you have the Chat GPT here. All right. Just enter your work experience. Put in student teaching. Put in here substitute teacher. Put in here classroom aide. Put it in there, and Chat GPT will make it look good. Let the AI do the work. It's all teaching experience. Notice here, again, bartender. It makes me look like I have bartending experience that is tailored towards teaching. And did I have to leverage problem-solving abilities as a bartender? Absolutely. Did I have to resolve issues as a bartender? Absolutely. Would I have come up with this on my own, trying to write my own resume? Probably not. I'd be sitting here going, how do I make my resume sound good when I'm a bartender? How do I make my resume sound good as a substitute teacher? How do I make my resume sound good as a student aide? You don't have to. There's AI that will do it for you. The school is going to use AI to sort through your resumes. Use AI to build your resume. And then once you bring it in to here, then you can do what I did. Let's go down here. Sorry. Then you can do what I did. I zhuzhed it up. I added some things. I added my stuff. I added my certifications. You might want to, obviously my education is going to go here. Zhuzh it up or don't, but make sure that you don't put my logo in it. Don't just copy this and send it off. You are going to want to put it in your own thing. Notice it's one page. Now, let's say you have a little bit more here and you want to fit it all on one page. All you have to do is play a little bit with the margins. So page setup here, instead of left margin at 1, make it 0.5. Right margin, 0.5. You can do this in Word also. Okay. Now it's over a little bit more. Okay. Notice it's over a little bit more. And then you have a little bit more to write with here. Okay. Now, really important, very important. Before you submit this to the school portal, you're going to want to file, download as a PDF. If you're using a Word document, you are going to want to download it or print it or save it as a PDF document. Because if you upload this, let's say we're working just in Word here, and you upload a Word document to the portal, sometimes it'll move it, it'll skew it around, it'll mess it up. You want to lock everything down. So once you've done it all, what you're going to do is you're going to download it as a PDF file and upload the PDF to whatever portal you're uploading. Okay, very important. In anything you do, moving forward, you want to lock it down as a PDF. All right. And then it'll print nicely. It will not move and shift. It'll be locked in. Okay. Very important there. All right. Now, cover letter. Everybody's like, what about a cover letter? To be honest, nobody cares about the cover letter, but I know some of you really want to write it. So what I did was I went to ChatGPT and I just said, please write me a 3-paragraph cover letter. Let me share this instead. And I always say, please, 3-paragraph cover letter for a 6th grade social studies position. Please use the info from the resume above to showcase my skills in the cover letter. Let's just do 1 page instead of 3-paragraph, 1 page. I want to make sure it's 1 page. Okay. And then I just hit go. There it is. Okay. Don't spend 20 hours on this. And this is a lot. I'd probably delete. You know what? I might go back to 3 paragraphs, or you could just go, please make it shorter, more succinct. Please make it more succinct. Okay. Tighten it up, because the thing is, that's perfect right here, right here. Why? Because again, the principal is busy. Nobody's going to read this cover letter. I hate to break it to you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you how busy assistant principals and principals are. So you might put this in an email. Some districts may require it just to weed out the not so serious people. Just use ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT. I'm also going to hook you up with a prompt for ChatGPT to lesson plan. I have a video on that on my YouTube channel, and I think you'll really like it. Once you get the job, use ChatGPT to write lesson plans. Why not? We need time. Time is money. Okay. So this is how you do it in ChatGPT. Please use AI. It's going to make your life easier. Of course, I'm going to give you this particular handout as well. Remember, this is my logo here. It's linked to my website, obviously, because I want you to go to my website. Please do not just send this in to your principal or to the portal, because it's going to say Kathleen Jasper on it, and they're going to know that you didn't write it. So just copy this into a Word document or download it, make a copy for your own, and then start to make it your own. Go to ChatGPT, chatgpt.com will help you with all of this. Keep this saved, use this throughout your life, and even teach students how to use this. I have so many ways that students can use this. It's amazing. Okay, now let me stop sharing. The interview. So the whole reason why we do the resume is to get the interview. The interview is where you can shine. Now, the interview process can be very daunting. And I have a whole interview course. It's only $39.99. And I go through pretty much any question they're going to ask you. I added some sample questions to that resume document you're going to get as a download, because it will help you get the wheels turning, right? But you're going to need to know how to answer questions like, what does your classroom management plan look like? If you're a brand new teacher, you might not know, classroom management plan. That's, for me, as an assistant principal, that was the most important question, because I want to know that you can handle situations in your classroom. Assistant principals get called a lot for discipline, and we should. If there's a discipline issue and it's really bad, the APs need to step in and support the teacher. But if you don't have a classroom management plan, no learning is going to take place, because you can't get kids to learn unless they have routines and procedures happening in the classroom. So that's one thing you're going to want to think about. The other thing is lesson planning. How do you plan your lessons? You might think, well, I just plan the lessons. Don't say ChatGPT, even though if I were the principal and you said, well, I use AI now to help me plan my lessons, I would be like, oh my God, that's awesome. But I'm not the principal, and you don't know what principal you're going to get. What you do want to use is the standards to plan every single thing you do. State standards. Okay. So very, very important there. You might also get asked a question, what does a typical day look like in your classroom? Now, you might be someone who has never been a teacher yet. How do you answer that question? Well, there are ways in which you can say, I haven't done that yet, but this is how I would structure my day. And what the principal is looking for is that you're not just showing a PowerPoint. You're not just showing videos. You're moving students around the room in and out of activities. You're doing different things, differentiated instruction, using data to make decisions within the classroom. And so you're going to want to know how to answer questions like that. How do you meet the needs of every student? What happens if a student just doesn't get it in your classroom? The principal is looking for specific answers to these questions to make sure you're ready for the classroom. And even if you're brand new and you've never done it, you can still answer these questions. All right. Now, Yana, my colleague, Yana Crystal Bossy is in the chat. She just shared a link with you, but I'm going to share something with you so you can see what I'm talking about here. So let me go here. Okay. This is the interview course on my website. It's only $39.99 and it looks like this. So when you go, you've got an introduction here, and then there is this full PDF of all the questions. There are about, I think, 25 or 30 different questions, very specific, ranging from classroom management, blah, blah, blah. I go through it. They're all sectioned out. Classroom management here. I go through and I answer these for you. I should tell you how to talk about it. I give you tips on how to say it without sounding like a robot, without, sounding like you don't know what you're talking about. I give you tips as a brand new teacher, and I also give you tips as a teacher already in the classroom, how you can answer these questions. Classroom instruction. So I've sectioned out the questions to go along with the themes that the principal is going to ask you. First thing they're going to want to know, classroom management. How do you handle kids? How do you set the stage for success? What are your routines and procedures for the classroom? What's your plan? Next, how do you plan your lessons? What do you use? What's your process? What happens if a plan goes awry? What if there's a fire drill or a kid gets sick? What do you do? Instruction. Now we move into, what does a typical day look like in your classroom? How do you make sure your students get it? Helping students who struggle. How are you going to help students with special needs? How are you going to differentiate instruction to meet the needs of all students? What are you going to do to help them? And then, of course, the crazy miscellaneous questions you might get. Anything from, tell me about a time you resolved conflict. Tell me about a time something crazy happened in your classroom. What did you do? And then, of course, ending the interview when they ask you that, do you have any questions for us? I hate that question. Do you have any questions for us? I tell you how to answer all of this, and there are ways in which you can go through this interview. Now, one thing I will tell you about the interview. So you did great. You got the resume and the cover letter, and you've got an interview. Keep it positive. Do not say anything bad about your former principal. I don't care if your former principal was a tyrant and was the worst principal ever. Principals stick together. They don't want to hear you talking bad about their colleague. Don't do it. It is a red flag. It says to the person interviewing you that you can't get along with people. Keep it positive. If you had the worst experience of your life at a school, lie and say, I learned so much, because you probably did learn something. Even the worst experiences teach us something. Okay. So I was so grateful for the opportunity that school gave me. Keep it positive. That way, even if the principal says to their friend, I don't know about that one, she was kind of tough, you came off in the interview as, you know what, I really liked my principal. I had a lot of respect for her. She really taught me a lot. That's it. Keep it at that. No bad vibes in the interview. Bad vibes give red flags. Red flags means do not hire. Please don't talk smack about anybody in the job interview. And you might say, well, of course I wouldn't do that. I cannot tell you how many times I've conducted an interview and the teacher just sat there and talked smack, because once they got going, they couldn't stop. So just positivity. Okay. Let's see here. Some schools have in-home-based substitute teachers that comes with full-time benefits. Okay, I think you guys are talking to each other. What tips could you share for a virtual interview or a virtual teacher position in the district? Okay, for virtual teacher interview, I would have good lighting. Get a light and shine it on your face. That's what I do. People go, oh, what's your skincare routine? Even though I do have a few blemishes. It's a big light in my face. So make sure your lighting looks good. Make sure your backdrop does not look like a serial killer's basement. Okay. I've seen some people come on an interview and they're like, I don't know what is going on in the background. Okay. Make it nice. You can just move things out of the way. You can even sit in a corner, like of a room, and make the corner look all nice and prop up your laptop on a box and put things around you. You're only having this little space. Okay. Now I have this nice backdrop that my husband and I built, but I do it YouTube all the time. Make the backdrop look nice, shine a light in your face, try to use a good microphone. If you have, AirPods, use headphones because the microphone in the AirPods works really well. Okay, that's what I recommend. They're probably going to interview on Zoom or Teams if they're doing it that way. Use your AirPods and figure it out before the interview. Make sure you don't just go, oh, I'm going to use my headphones. And it's like 1 minute before the interview starts. And now you got to click the button in settings to make sure your AirPods are being recognized. Take 15, 20 minutes, do it the day before, and make sure all of your tech is figured out. Okay. Good question, because a lot of people are doing it virtually. And then for a virtual teacher position, I recommend you really hamming up your prowess in technology and how you can help students engage with lessons even online, because one of the hardest things about online learning is making it engaging. I have a couple videos on my website as well, because if you've seen my videos, I write on the screen and everything. I share screen and I write on the screen and make it as engaging as I can. And a lot of people are like, how do you do that? I have a video on that, and we'll link it up in the email as well. If you're going for a virtual teaching position, you can talk about screen mirroring and showing different examples and different ways in which you can do breakout sessions and discussions to make it engaging. Okay. How do you answer the question, why are you leaving that school? Very simple. Here's why. You're looking for just new opportunities. And before you go in the interview, you're going to want to look up the school that you're interviewing at. Figure out their reading program. Figure out what makes their school tick. Are they an art school? Maybe you want to go to an art school. You might say, well, I really loved my old school and I learned so much, but you guys are an art school and I just love that. I really want to teach at an art school. Just ham up why you want to go to this new school. Principals love to talk about their schools. Their schools are their children. Why? Because they're there 24/7. Sometimes they're at school more than they're with their own children. So ham up. Oh, I love what you've done with the reading program. Oh, I see you do a math night every month. That is incredible. Find something that the school does and really like hang on to it and showcase it. It'll show the principal that you did your homework and that you care about their baby, because it is their baby. Okay. How do you answer the okay? How about teaching philosophy? I hate that question when people ask that. What's your teaching philosophy? I put that in my book. So let me share one more thing with you guys here. Okay. So this is my book, Teach: A Survival Guide for New Educators. We will also link this up in the email. This goes through your teaching philosophy in the first chapter to help you kind of figure it out. This is also available on Kindle Unlimited for $0. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can grab this book for free. You can also get a paperback. And a lot of people like this book. I'm so thrilled by the ratings. I was very nervous to write this book because I usually write study guides. And I wrote this book and the response has been so sweet and amazing. And I love it so much. But anyways, this book is called Teach: A Survival Guide for New Educators. And the very first section is all about your philosophy of teaching. And I break it down very clearly for you there. And you can go down and see the reviews are just so sweet. Like people have taken pictures with their books, and like this one here got me, the real PD you need, the real professional development you need. I just read this one today and it made me so happy. But this goes into it. Now, without buying the book or downloading it, I can tell you that you don't have to come up with some fancy teaching philosophy. You may want to say something like, I believe every student can learn, or I believe it's my job to meet the needs of every student, or I believe it's my job to pull out the maximum potential of every student. That's what the principal wants to hear, that every kid can learn and you're going to do everything in your power to make it happen. That's it. And that, school is important and fun, and you want to make learning, like you might want to say something like, let's say you're a math person. You might want to say, well, my philosophy is really that math is amazing. And I know a lot of kids don't like math, but it's a challenge to me. When math seems difficult for kids, that's my cue to just make them love math. And it's like, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, yes, please, more of that. Okay. That's really important. Okay. Gabby, I ordered it. Can't wait to read it. Oh, thank you, Gabby. I'm really happy about the book. I really love it. I'm so excited about it. Is it okay talking about salary or benefits on the interview? I would say no, Patricia. Don't talk about salary because it's public knowledge. You can just find it on the website. And if you're not happy with the principal has no control over your salary. That's done at the district level. So if you don't like the salary, the principal's not going to be able to talk about it. Now, if you were interviewing for something else, I would say absolutely talk about salary. And more women need to talk about salary. That's a whole other webinar. But in a teaching position, the salary is the salary. You're going to get what you get based on a scale. So the principal does not set that. But if you were going in for a new position at a private company, definitely talk about salary. Okay. Is it okay to include my experience in judiciary for quite a long time after? Yes. All experience. That's something that would be beneficial. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Love your book. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. If the job is for early childhood teacher, would showing up for an interview in scrubs be insulting? I'm not sure why you would show up in scrubs, but maybe because you are a nurse already. Because you would wear scrubs as an early childhood teacher. I would just go with a normal attire, just a nice pair of pants, skirt if you want. You don't need a suit, but I might not show up in scrubs. Me personally, it's up to you. Okay, let's see here. How do I get started with my certification? Here's the thing, and I'm getting a lot of this in the chat, and then we're going to move on to one more thing. Here's the thing about certification, guys. It depends on your state. I do not have those answers. There are 50 states in the United States, and each one of them is in charge of its own certification program. So you go to your state Department of Education website, and I have a video on my YouTube channel, How to Become a Teacher. And I show you exactly how to do this. I use a couple of states, I think New Jersey and Texas, I believe. I can't remember which states I use. And you go to your state Department of Education website, and it will show you exactly what you have to do to become a teacher. Every state is different. Every state has different tests. Every state has a different process. You have to decide based on your state. Don't buy any study guides until you figure it out with your state because you don't want to waste money. Okay. All right, guys. So I know this is nerve-wracking. Remember, we're going to use the power of AI, and you are going to get that writing prompt as a download for ChatGPT, and you're going to play around with it. Remember, if you don't like what ChatGPT does, right after it, let me show you something. Really quick. Okay. Let's say you don't like this. You might say, please make this more specific about my, classroom management skills. Or somebody asks about working in the judiciary. Maybe say, really beef up my judiciary skills and how it relates to teaching, okay? You just hit enter and it'll revise it for you. It'll take it and I have a proven track record for planning, engaging lessons. I pride myself in the ability to create a positive, structured learning environment where students feel supported and engaged. Look at how good this is, okay? But you may want to copy and paste it into a Word document and zhuzh it up. I always say zhuzh up the ChatGPT, but ChatGPT does a pretty good job. Don't just copy it and don't read it. Please read what it's saying here. You gotta make sure you read it. AI is great, but it needs to be checked, okay? It's not a human. All right. Now, beyond this, let me just go to my website really quickly. So, of course, you're going to get a link to the teacher interview course. If you go to KathleenJasper.com and you hit online courses, it's the first one. It's only $39.99. And with this webinar, you're getting an offer code for 15% off. So it's super cheap and I highly recommend it. You can use it as and let me go here. You can use it as an audio course. So you could turn this on with your headphones and go for a walk and just listen. I love audio courses. Or you can just use it as a video course as well. It's up to you. And then of course you get all the questions here. I like to print them out. It's kind of in a, it's in like a PowerPoint. So they're big slides. You can print them out and write notes as I talk. That's what I tell you to do. Print them out, write notes as I speak to kind of tailor it towards your own thing. Okay. Very important there. Of course, we are all over Amazon as well. So let's say you still need some study guides. Maybe you're elementary ed and you need this book here. We have digital downloads and we also are available on Amazon. You can see we have tons, over 900 ratings. 5-star reviews. I mean, people like our books, you guys. We work really hard on them, and I really take pride in what I do to help teachers. I love teachers. You guys are my people. So if you need anything, just go to the website here. We also have more practice tests and stuff like that. Then I have free webinars, and I remember somebody talking about their doctorate. A couple people, masters, doctorate, stuff like that. You may want to attend next week for the free leadership resume and interview process. This is a little bit different. But if you're getting a doctorate in educational leadership, which I think, I forget who somebody mentioned it today in the chat. You may want to sign up for this. It's going to be a lot like this one here, but I'm going to talk more about the leadership part and how to do that. And then if you have other tests you want to take, ESOL, a Praxis Elementary Ed, Praxis Core, Special Education. I also have a, Start your school year off with success here. I'm doing another one of these in July. So if you're already on my email list, if you have signed up for this webinar, you'll get that. So I go over classroom management, lesson planning, all of that. I have a how to lesson plan webinar. All of these are for you to help the new teacher. And they go with that book that I showed you, the Teach a Guide to New Educators. So these are all free and they come with handouts and stuff to help you. So check that out. And then of course we have lots of online courses here. So if you're some of you are going to become assistant principals. You're going to have to take the SLLA. We have online courses. We also have new audio courses that I'm working with. We have special ed audio course, teaching reading audio course. Put them in your headphones. They go great with the study guide. All of that works well. Now, beyond that, I have a very robust YouTube channel. Some of you have found me on YouTube. I have so many different videos for so many different things. I have test strategy, teaching reading, writing videos. I have, let's see here, of course, popular. I have math. I just did this math video on Pythagorean theorem. Check out my YouTube channel and subscribe there if you can. If you like shorter stuff, I'm on TikTok. I love TikTok. I don't know why this is so zoomed in. Usually they show more. Anyway, I'm on TikTok, shorter version. I got constructed response, math, just all different things, vertical alignment and lesson planning. So many different videos there. Check me out on TikTok. I love doing TikToks. I'm super obsessed with that too. Let me see what else. Oh, and of course, Facebook. We are always on Facebook. You can catch us there. We're live there right now. All right. Okay, so your books helped me pass all of my tests. Yay, Jamie, I'm so glad. And I'm so glad you're here for this particular session. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let you guys enjoy your Saturday. We are going to be sending you an email. And again, if you're watching this in the future, you are getting everything. Don't worry about the prompt. You're going to get it. You can download it. Remember, you can't edit the Google Doc I send you. It's locked because if you edit, it edits it for everybody else. You have to download it. You go to File, Download. It'll download in a Word document or File, Make a Copy. That copy is yours, and then you can work in Google Docs if you prefer working in Google Docs. I like some of it. Sometimes I work in Google Docs, sometimes I work in regular Word. It just depends. I recently purchased the Teaching Reading 5205 book and the test last week. It's my last exam to pass. Awesome. You're going to do it, Gabby. I believe in you. I believe in you. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions. You can always get your information to us if you have questions at info@kathleenjasper.com. Don't forget, those of you who are studying to be assistant principals and principals, next week, same time, same place, I'm going to be doing the leadership interview process. So I can't remember the woman's name who asked me about her doctoral program, which is very difficult. And I'm so proud of you for doing that. Check out the leadership interview process. I'm going to be working on that. All right, guys. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much.